Welcome to this explainer. Today we are unpacking something absolutely massive. The 2026 World Cup isn't just a sporting event, it's a sprawling, continent-wide logistical puzzle. We're going to explore how this unprecedented scale, expanding across the US, Canada, and Mexico, completely changes the math of survival and forces a brutal tactical evolution out there on the pitch. Honestly, forget what you know about the old World Cup format. This time around, survival requires a completely different calculus.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1, the biggest tournament ever, 2, surviving the travel toll, 3, the new survival math, 4, brutal tactical shifts, and finally 5, breakout stars to watch.
Starting with Section 1, the biggest tournament ever, and the unprecedented scale of 2026. Let's zoom right into the sheer, record-breaking geography and numbers of this competition right out of the gate. 281,223. Now, what exactly is that? On June 16, 2026, exactly that many fans passed through stadium turnstiles. That is a daily attendance record for the tournament, set across just 4 group stage matches. It totally shatters the previous record from 1994 and highlights the unbelievable fan demand. But as you'll see, with this massive scale comes a really massive operational challenge for the teams involved. To really understand why, we have to contrast the old era with the new. You know, the old World Cup was this tight 32-team, 64-match sprint defined by romantic, chaotic, sudden death tension. But the new World Cup, it's a 48-team, 104-match marathon. This leap in scale completely changes the competitive environment. A finalist is now going to have to play 8 matches instead of 7. It turns the tournament from a sheer test of talent into the ultimate test of endurance and squad management. Which brings us to Section 2, surviving the travel toll, focusing on physiology and logistics. Because the tournament is sprawled across 16 cities in North America, the very first opponent these teams face isn't even on the pitch, it's geography. There's this quote from a recent Teesside University study that captures the challenge perfectly. They note that adaptation is not simply physiological, but it's also a behavioral, psychological, and operational stressor. We are literally talking about players reaching their physical breaking points here. Teams might face 2,800-mile flights and cross 3 separate time zones between games, all while playing in the punishing summer heat of cities like Miami or Dallas. The cumulative load of this travel disrupts sleep, nutrition, and recovery, making it an operational stressor unlike anything these athletes face back in their domestic leagues. And you know what brilliantly illustrates this? Local logistics. They compound that stress incredibly quickly. When we rank host cities by transportation efficiency, we see massive disparities. Toronto scores a 95 out of 100 with its direct rail-to-stadium access, meaning players, staff, and fans move seamlessly. But then, look at Monterey, scoring just a 55 due to heavy car dependency. Simple city logistics and public transit efficiency will directly drain or preserve a team's overall energy and focus over a grueling month-long tournament. Let's move on to Section 3, the new survival math, where margin is currency. When you combine exhausted players with a bloated 48-team format, you completely rewrite the rules of group stage survival. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the best third-place mechanism. In this new format, the top 2 teams in each of the 12 groups advance, but so do 8 of the 12 third-place finishers. Let's think about that cold calculation for a second. 2/3 of the entire field survives the first cut. Because of this, a narrow 1-0 loss on opening night is no longer a disaster that sends a nation into panic. Instead, it's just a highly manageable data point. Goal difference is now the ultimate currency. This creates a massive mindset shift. The opening loss? It isn't sudden death anymore. Drawing a game is highly profitable. And ironically, this means underdogs might deliberately play the most boring, pragmatic football imaginable. I mean, why risk a 3-0 blowout when you can park the bus, secure a 0-0 draw, manage your damage control, and comfortably advance in third place? Plus, because of the extra games and travel, squad rotation is no longer just for resting players, it's a vital tactical weapon used to deploy entirely different strategies while protecting tired legs. This naturally leads us into Section 4, brutal tactical shifts, or what we can call the death of the constant press. Because the math has fundamentally changed and player legs are inevitably heavy, the actual on-pitch tactics must dramatically evolve. The biggest casualty of this format is for sure the constant high-intensity press. That Jurgen Klopp-style heavy metal football requires extreme physical freshness and months of club-level drilling. Luxuries that national teams traveling across North America in the summer heat simply do not have. Instead, we are witnessing the rise of trigger pressing. Made famous by Morocco in 2022, this strategy conserves energy by sitting in a compact block punctuated by explosive coordinated bursts only when the opponent makes a mistake, like, say, a bad touch or a poor pass. So, to actually survive this exhausting environment, every serious contender must possess three modern tactical requirements. First up, deploy inverted fullbacks. Moving a defender into the midfield creates instant structural overloads without needing complex, exhausting passing patterns. Second, maximize set-piece efficiency. When legs are totally dead in the 80th minute of a knockout game, a well-rehearsed corner kick is far more reliable than open play creativity. And third, maintain structured rest defense to ensure they aren't vulnerable to fast counterattacks when their own attacks break down.
So, how are the heavyweights modifying their traditional philosophies to cope? Well, Spain is shifting from pure positional possession to adding much more vertical ambition, striking faster before defenses can set up. France remains a terrifying transition-dependent team, though they do still face vulnerabilities trying to break down stubborn low-block defenses over 90 minutes, and England, under new management, has adopted a solid mid-block base that doesn't exhaust players, leaning heavily on elite set-piece execution to win those really tight matches. All right, let's head into our final section, breakout stars to watch, the players specifically built for the new math. We're going to zoom all the way down to the micro level here. In a tournament defined by tactical discipline and heavy legs, the players who will break out are the ones with the exact traits required to unlock these stubborn systems. We've mapped out these young stars right here. France's Ryan Cherki brings elite line-breaking vision. Germany's 18-year-old Leonard Karl has an incredible instinct for the timing of his runs. Algeria's Ibrahim Maza offers the press resistance needed to escape tight mid-blocks, and England's Nico O'Reilly is a total master of late-box arrivals, catching tired defenders completely off guard. Let's zero in on Cherki for a second. When Kylian Mbappe calls you an innate, spectacular talent, people listen, right? What makes Cherki so vital for France in this specific World Cup format is that his elite vision can bypass a compact, deep-sitting defensive structure before the opponent even realizes the pass has happened. In those tight games where open space is practically non-existent, that kind of instant creativity is just priceless. Now, what's really fascinating is this quote from Pep Guardiola regarding England's Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly represents the ultimate positional flexibility required for modern international football. Because managers can't drill complex systems for months, having a single player who can seamlessly shift from an attacking midfielder to a left back to a holding pivot, all within the exact same game, gives a team the ability to adapt its tactical shape on the fly without wasting a substitution. It's like having a tactical Swiss Army knife. Which brings us to our final thought. The 2026 World Cup is a beast of scale, travel, and mathematical complexity. It's an environment explicitly designed to break fixed tactical systems and exhaust the unprepared. So, as you watch the matches unfold across North America, try to look past the flash and the flare. Ask yourself, in a tournament designed to break fixed systems, will 2026 finally offer definitive proof that cold, calculated adaptation and tactical flexibility are infinitely more valuable than pure, raw talent? Thank you for checking out this explainer and enjoy the tournament.